Wilson Morales, blackfilmandtv.com. Hi, Joseph. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How you doing?
Good. Obviously, you get a lot of projects offered to you. What went into saying yes to this?
This just honestly sounded like so much fun. I know that's a simple answer, but it's true. I just took a couple of years off acting actually because I became a dad and I was lucky to get to spend some time with my babies. And my first job back was this really heavy drama. It's called 7500. And that actually just came out too. But after doing something so serious and intense, I just wanted to do something fun. And I read the script for Project Power and I saw the action and the chases and it was Jamie Foxx and we're going to New Orleans. And I was like, this is going to be fun, I think. And it really was.
I spoke to Jamie, I spoke to Dom, and I basically said the same thing. What I'm going to ask you now is like, if you had an option of having 5 minutes of power, what would it be and how would you use it?
I've been thinking about this too. Obviously, we've been talking about this. I like the power of empathy. Being able to see through someone else's eyes, hear through someone else's ears, touch, taste, smell, like really put myself in someone else's shoes. This is what I'm always pursuing as an actor. I play a character that's different from myself. I'm trying to understand a perspective that's different from my own. But if it were a superpower and I could actually experience life from the point of view of someone else, I think I'd really learn a lot.
Now, you mentioned why you do this. Now, when you take the projects, obviously, as you mentioned, and I did see 7,500, very intense, do you try to balance it out in terms of like, one serious one fun one? What's your psyche when you try to take on these projects?
Yeah, it's really a feel thing. Like I don't get terribly analytical about it, to be honest, but it's just whatever makes me feel like inspired to get up and do it. And coming off of a bunch of time off, I mean, the time off I took from when I had kids, that was the longest break I've ever taken from acting ever since I was 6 years old. And coming back, I just really wanted to sink my teeth into something hard, like really get into the art and the craft of it and challenge myself. And like I said, after that, I didn't want to do another thing that hard right off the bat. I was tired. So I just wanted to do something like kind of fun and energetic. And that's where I got to Project Power. And I was lucky that it came my way at the time that it did.
Like you just said, you're just coming back. So when you're back and you just do two films, and I don't know the time frame when you did it, what do you take from each film that you've done to the next project, or what are you learning? Are you taking something new, or is it just like the next project?
That's a really great question. I think coming off of Project Power, if there's one thing I can say, like I really love that I got to make two really good friends, both Dominique and Jamie. Like I really consider them true friends of mine, and I admire them both so much. They're obviously really different. Dom is just at ascending in her career, and I really believe she has a long career ahead of her. And Jamie is someone I've looked up to ever since I was a kid, watching him in Living Color, and seeing him get to do so many different things. But getting to spend the time with them and really getting to know them and be able to, have them as friends that's really valuable. You don't come away from every movie with those kinds of relationships. And I think that real bond that the three of us had, it shows up on screen. It's part of why I think people are really liking this movie.
Where do we see you next?
So the next movie is called Trial of the Chicago 7, and it's actually just coming out in a couple months, and it's also on Netflix, and very different from 7500, very different from Project Power. It's a courtroom drama. And it's written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, who's sort of the master courtroom drama of our time. But it's about a real trial that took place in 1968. It's incredibly pertinent today because they put 8 people on trial, 8 men, and accused them of conspiracy to start a riot because people were protesting against the Vietnam War. And nowadays, of course, there's a lot of protests going on, people standing up for what's right. And our government, sadly, is doing their best to try to take away those rights and squash that expression, undermining the freedom of speech, undermine the right to assemble. And it was happening exactly the same way in 1968. So when you watch this movie about this trial, it feels like you're watching something about, even though it's about something that happened a long time ago, it feels like you're watching a movie about what's going on in the world today. I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Can't wait to see it. Joseph, it's good talking to you. Until the next time.
Thanks, man. Good to see you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.